cook an amazing speech. And are you interested to know what that secret spice is? So you know how to get the maximum use of your voice, and what is that other spice that is a must to deliver a wonderful speech? Let me invite another amazing trainer to tell you all about it. He is a Toastmasters since 2014, past president of Virtusa Colombo Toastmasters Club, past area director and immediate past division director, Division J, currently serving as the assistant club quality chair of District 82. He is working as a senior consultant at Virtusa. Please welcome on screen distinguished Toastmaster Hingston Lovell. DTM Hingston, the screen is all yours.
Thank you, Nepa. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, Toastmaster Hingston, you're audible and visible.
Nepa, can you confirm?
Yes, Toastmaster Hingston, you're audible and visible.
Thank you. And you can see my screen as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Sandun educated us on the content. That is, what you're going to say, how we're going to structure. Donna told about voice. In that line, there is another important spice that you need to add to your speech flavor. That is your body to the speech. If you don't add the body to the speech, it will be like, it will not have a fulfilled meaning to that speech. If you don't emphasize your message through your body language, your message that you wanted to communicate with the audience will not go across. So today, my responsibility for next few minutes is to give you some understanding in our speech. Your body speaks. Now look at this kid. Look at this small one in this first slide. When you see this picture, where is your attention go towards? Where are your eyes going towards? It goes towards the smile. It goes towards that face, that cute little face this kid is blessed with. Similarly, when you are doing a speech, people, they do not listen to your words. They look at your body language. They look at your body language and they might judge. They might come to what you are saying. They will decide whether am I going to sleep during this speech or am I going to actively listen during this speech through your gaze. Are you aware of emotions? What are the emotions? Can maybe the panelist, or maybe you can even use the chat feature or the Q&A feature the chat feature in the Zoom, and tell some of the emotions that you know of. Can I see some responses? You can use the chat window, or you can use the chat window and tell some responses. What are some of the emotions that you're aware of? Okay, I think there are some responses coming up. Happy, sad, excited. Anger, violence, sad. Yeah. So all of you, like all the answers that you told are correct. Jealousy, joy, excitement, surprise, sadness, depressed, frustration, curiosity, grateful, fantastic. You would know better than me. Knowing the emotions, if you don't convey those emotions through body language, then these emotions will go in vain. So thank you for the responses. I am still getting the responses. Thank you so much. Now let's concentrate on the presentation. As I told earlier, if you have the emotions aside and if you just do the speech in one side, there won't be a connection between your emotions and the speech. So you need to bring out those emotions through your body language. It could be happy, it could be sad, it could be angry, it could be frustration, it could be disgusting. But you need to bring these elements in your body. So let's go inside and see what is in store for me. Three categories of body language. Category number one, facial expressions. Category number two, gestures. Category number three, the body movement. So let's go one by one and let's learn what is facial expressions and why facial expressions is important. What is gestures? Why gestures is important? What is body movement? Why body movement is important? Are you ready to learn? Let's. I found this out in Google. There are 7 universal facial expressions. And the interesting fact was, I saw one of the participants mentioning all 7 of them. Fantastic. Surprise! Hingston passed the exams. That's a surprise moment. Hingston did not pass the exam. That's fear because I will get beaten up by my parents. Huh? Did Hingston pass the exam? Oh boy, disgusting moment. Hingston passed the exam. How come Hingston passed the exam? He was copying now. Angry. Did Hingston pass the exam? Could be a sad moment for my friends. Hingston passed the exam. It could be a happy moment for my mother. Similarly, we have these emotions, we have these feelings that we can show through the facial expressions. If you're wondering how to practice for this, there are few exercises that you can do with your face. You can do something like this. You can do something like e, e. When you do something like that, I don't want to do it because if I do that, the Bluetooth speakers that I'm having might fall down. When you do that, what will happen is you are stretching your mouth, you're stretching your face. Then it will be easy for you to practice this. E, oo, oo, oo. When you stretch like this, your facial muscles will become more comfortable. Like how Donna taught us on some of the exercises that we need to do for the voice, even for body language, there are few things that we need to do in order to make ourselves a better speaker. Now, these are the 7 facial expressions. When we speak about the facial expressions, another element to this is the eye contact. We should maintain an eye contact with the audience. As Sandhu said, if it is a physical environment, that is, for an example, I am standing in front of you where you are seated in an auditorium and I'm doing the same presentation. The atmosphere is different. But being an online, when I'm doing this, I'm just speaking to the camera. So when I look at the camera and speak, that resembles that I'm speaking to each of you. But imagine you're doing a speech in front of a large audience. So you need to look at the audience and speak. But in this online contest, the ideal way that you can maintain an eye contact is you need to look at the camera and speak. When you look at the camera and speak, you will understand that I am speaking to the audience. Right now, I'm looking at the camera. I'm not looking at the camera. So when someone looking at the camera and speaking, it will help the audience to see the person as that person is speaking to themselves, right? So that is about eye contact. I know there is a separate session about speaking to the camera. When it comes to eye contact, you should know your material. What is the material? Now, what I meant by material is what kind of speech is it? Is it an inspirational speech, a motivational speech, or information speech, entertaining speech? Based on that, your eye contact differs. Why we need to use eye contact? When you use eye contact, as I told earlier, you will establish a bond between you as a speaker and the listeners. In other words, the audience. So when I'm looking at the camera and speaking, you will understand that I'm speaking to you. In a physical gathering, if I'm looking at the audience and speaking, they will understand that I'm speaking to them. So you should not look at the ceiling, the floor, the right side or the left side, right? You should not look at your hands. You should not look at anywhere else. You should look at the audience and speak. In an online contest or in a video, you should look at the camera and speak. I mean, not every time. You might be asking a question. I have a dialogue in my speech. So do I still need to look at the camera and speak? For that, here's the tip. When you start a dialogue, for example, you're going to tell your mother that you have passed the exam. Amma, I have passed the exam. Now, if you say like this, there is no connection between you and the camera, or in other words, you and the audience. So how you can redo this is, Amma, I passed the exam. Did you understand? I started the line by looking at Amma, where I have placed Amma here, but I am speaking to the camera, where I am telling the rest to the camera. So audience will understand that yes, it's a dialogue, but you are telling the dialogue to the audience. So you will establish a bond. Next is monitor visual feedback. Now this is little difficult when it comes to an online contest or an online speech, where in online you will not be seeing others. However, in a physical gathering, you will see others and you will understand whether they are reacting to your presentation, whether they are nodding heads or whether they are sleeping, whether they are on the phone, whether they are busy with anything else, whether they are busy with chit-chatting with their friends instead of listening to you. So you will monitor those visual feedbacks. In an online gathering, it is not applicable because you are not seeing, as a speaker, we don't see you. Now, why I have included this individual's photo, a small homework for you. Go to YouTube and watch his speech. His name is Mike. He is the world champion of public speaking 2020, that is last year. This speech, this contest happened virtually, that is through the videos. So check his speech and see how he has used the body language, but most importantly, how he has done the speech by looking at the camera. Right. Now that we got to know about the eye contact, let's go to the gestures. In gestures, there are 4 kinds of gestures. Number 1 is descriptive gestures. I just used a descriptive gesture. What did I use? I said there are 4 kinds of gestures. I have one annoying sister. Today I woke up at 8 o'clock, which is unbelievable, right? Descriptive. The distance between Colombo and Batticolo is huge, right? I have a tall brother, right? So you are describing some people or describing an object. You are doing a compare and contrast. Right? For that, you can use this descriptive gesture. Right? Fantastic food. I just had a biryani from my mother. It's fantastic. It's yummy. Right? So you can the audience will be able to feel what you're trying to say when you use that descriptive gestures. The next is empathetic gesture. What is empathetic gesture? Empathetic gesture is you need some motivation in life, or you need to tell some motivation things to your friends where you need to emphasize on some points. You're telling to your teacher, this term I failed. Next term I will definitely pass. Look at my hands. A clenched fist. A clenched fist means that you are talking under determination. Right? So Martin Luther King had a dream. Right? So had a dream. So you need to show the determination, the motivation through empathetic gesture. The suggestive gesture is my favorite. We should not be rude to people. So if we want to get few things done from people, we have to show some suggestive gesture. Now, if I ask, so we have Modita, Rabindu, Tarushi, right? Few of my good friends here. Now, if I want to get some work done from them, if I go and ask, Tarushi, can you do this? This gesture, it's more of to avoid it in a polite way, using my gestures. Tarushi, can you do this help for me? I'm being more polite. I'm presenting myself as a polite person. Right? So there is a difference between being harsh and being polite. The last is the prompting gesture. Prompting gesture means when you do some gesture, you want our audience also to respond. For instance, right? For an instance, you can ask, raise your hand. How many of you have a beautiful sister? Raise your hand if you have a cool dad. A speech done by like a line from the speech by Dhananjay Hettiarachchi. So when you do like this, when you are doing a gesture, it prompts audience also to do that. Can I have some round of applause? Right? So you are doing a gesture where you're prompting audience also to actively participate in that. I hope you understood. Now, next, I'm going to show you some pictures where you will get more understanding about these gestures. But before that, let's understand why we need gestures. You need gestures to clarify and support your words. As I told earlier, it's not just what you say that matters. How you say also matters. So you need to use these gestures to clarify and support your words. Next is, it will dramatize your ideas. If you just say, I'm angry with you, I'm not going to talk to you, or I'm happy because I did really well in the exam. It will not give that drama, it will not give that drama to that line. It will not give that dramatic feeling to that line. So you need to add more color to those words by adding this gesture. Amma, I passed this exam. So there is a difference between Amma, I passed the exam. But similarly, Amma, I passed the exam. Right? And also, two kinds of people in this world. Number one, the nervous people. Number two, the liars. So it is okay to be nervous, and our body language will help us to understand where we are nervous. Because when you use the body language, when you record that speech and when you watch that speech, you will understand where you have showed that nervous. Because your body language will show that you are nervous. But at the same time, if you master the art of body language, you can do really well. Also, it will function as visual aids. As I told earlier, your body language itself will function as visual aids. You don't need PowerPoint, you don't need pictures, because your body language will paint the pictures. When you say those beautiful mountain, you don't need a photo in your background. I say, I saw that beautiful mountain. Oh, I saw that beautiful mountain. Hmm? Think about it. And also, it will stimulate the audience participation. When you ask questions like, can I have show of hands who had your breakfast? It will stimulate the audience participation. Look at the difference. If I ask, how many of you had your breakfast? Or did you have your breakfast? There, you might have to say yes, or you have to say some numbers, or you have to say, yes, I did. But when I'm giving you something, where I'm giving you a suggestion, I'm telling you, can I have a show of hands who had your breakfast? Now, I'm asking you, I'm giving you a solution, how you need to react. That will be more easy communication than just than expecting a huge response from the audience. Also, remember, it's highly visible. Your body language is highly visible, right? Look at this gesture. Okay, he must be like, okay, I don't know, or I don't care. Telling something on a very serious note. It could be a determination point. He must be saying something with regards to a descriptive gesture. He must be telling about the difference between the whites and the black. Yeah. A clench fist that shows the determination in him. I don't need to introduce who is this. All of you know him. And if you watch his speeches, especially there's a speech in YouTube that says, the speech that made him the president of United States of America. In that speech, he says a lot of things through the words, but the more impact that he's creating is through the body language. Now, we got to know about the facial expressions. We got to know about the gestures. And my last point for you is about the body movement. Why we need body movement? Body movement is to support and reinforce what you say. It will attract an audience attention, and you got to get comfortable with the stage. Let's take for an example. You're going to speak about yourself. If you just stand in one place and if you speak to, hi everyone, today I'm going to speak about myself. My name is Hingston Lovell. I was born in Colombo. My date of birth is 21st January 1989. I studied in St. Benedict's College. I have mother, father, one sister. And if you just stand in one place and if you just do the speech like this, audience will be feeling, you are nervous. And audience must be feeling that, okay, I'm not following this person because this person is standing in one place and doing a speech as if he is rooted to that place. But to make yourself more comfortable, you can move around in your stage. Even though this is an online speech, I'll tell you how to move around in your space. Obviously, you will not have the luxury to do a speech like you're going to do in a stage. So you will have a limited space. So what you can do is always keep the laptop or keep your camera on your eye level. And make sure that you have a plain background, preferably a white background or a plain background, plain color as your background. Have a considerable distance, maybe 1 to 2 feet between you and the camera. And when you look at the camera, try to adjust yourself on the way that you can speak. Now, if I were to convert that same speech that I did to a different level by using the body movement or by using the stage, I can start my speech maybe from the center. Or if I want to follow the timeline method, I can start the speech from my left. And then when I go to the next point, when I say about my parents, I can go to the center. When I say about my school, I can go to this side. Right? And then when I'm going to conclude my speech, I can come back to the center and I can deliver the speech. But it's not just those 3 parts of the stage you need to think when it comes to an online speech. If you want to communicate, if you want to speak, if you want to give any message, a short message to the audience in between, you can come closer and speak like this. If you want to come closer, you can even come closer on this side. You can even go here and speak. You can go behind and speak. But the problem is you need to make sure that you are audible at every time. For that, you can use hands-free, you can use headset, you can use Bluetooth headset, or if you want to go with the laptop mic, still I would prefer, because I have done some of my speeches with the laptop mic itself, the embedded mic itself, but you need to make sure that you're audible. More than everything that I told with regards to body movement, the most important point is the third point that I mentioned. Get comfortable. People should not feel that you have practiced well where you are doing some robotic movements. Today, I'm here to speak about myself. Tomorrow, I'm going to speak about my future. Now, I need to go and I need to wrap up my speech. And if you speak like this, people will think that you have either practiced well or you are very nervous. So you need to be comfortable in your speech. Now, that will come through practice. So we got to know about 3 main things when it comes to body language. Number 1, facial expressions. In that, we learn about eye contact as well. Next, the gestures. We learn about 4 kinds of gestures. Next is the body movement. Actions speak louder than words. I hope you agree with this statement. And now, let me give you a small homework. This is not a typical homework that you get in school, but this is a homework that I'm going to give you where you will not have anyone to judge or anyone to mark you. But you're going to do this to yourself. You can get the support of your parents, but I want you to do this. So what you can do, go to YouTube and search some of the world champion of public speaking speeches. Especially watch the 2020 speech. Maybe you can start somewhere from 2012 to 2020. I would highly appreciate you listening to the speech of Dhananjay Hettiarachchi, 2014 world champion of public speaking. And you can do a homework where you can see how they have used their facial expressions, how they have used their gestures, how they have used their body movement. By doing that exercise, you will get some ideas. I'm not recommending you, I'm not telling you to copy those exact things. Don't do that. That's wrong. But when you watch that, you will get understanding. You will get some understanding on those areas. What are the different ways that you can use your facial expressions? What are the different ways that you can use your gestures? What are the different ways that you can use the body movement to convey the message? With that, I would like to thank you, everyone. But remember one thing, it's not just what you say that matters. how you say or the presentation style also matters a lot. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the session. And please do let me know if you have any questions. I'll be staying back for the Q&A session as well.